Hey everyone, Nat Daddy here, and let's go over our weekly review of books for Friday, May 23rd. Got a few books this week. Got a few books here from last week as well too, because of the holiday weekend. Wasn't able to make a video last week. So let's jump into it. Absolute Flash number 3. Jeff Lemire is doing the writing on this. It's been a great take on the Flash so far. It's really drawn well. I like the way it's drawn. Kind of has like that, very detailed, but when space, time, creepy stuff goes on, I like the way that looks as well too. We see more of the introduction of Grodd here. Instead of being a big gorilla, he's just a little monkey this time, and he's been experimented on, and he's part of the Rogues Gallery, but seems to be more of a favoring Wally here because he feels very similar, being tested in a lab and that. So if you are enjoying the other Absolute DC books, check out the Flash one. It's pretty good as well too. Yeah, it's been good. Jeff Lemire always does great writing. So Amazing Spider-Man book 4 from the new reboot there, and it's been pretty good so far. Spider-Man's been tripping out on this psychedelic poison that he was given, and he keeps having visions of things happening from his past and that. Of course, being Peter, he's always tormented by guilt, and at the same time, he's dealing with the Hobgoblin, who is showing up, and that's always fun, and Itsy Bitsy, the assassin that's half Spider-Man and half Deadpool, so dealing with that as well too. Great art so far in this book, a lot of awesome action, and just cool Spidey stories. No God stuff, no Spider-Verse stuff, just plain old good-fashioned Spider-Man stories. Really been enjoying this new run so far. And like I said, really awesome art. World's Finest, number 39. Don't normally read this series. It's the Superman, Batman kind of team-up stuff. But this is part 4 of that We Are Yesterday crossover that's going on in the Justice League Unlimited stuff as well. So here we have, we know that the Legion of Doom is the reason or the people behind the Inferno kind of terrorist group. But it's not the Legion of Doom that we know. It's Legion of Doom that's been picked from time. So in this series, there's a lot of time stuff going on, and that's what's going on in this book here. There's a lot of kind of time ripple things going on, and Batman and Superman and Robin, sometimes Nightwing, are bouncing back and forth through time. I have been enjoying this crossover so far, and the art is really good in here. A lot of great action as well too. But this book of the four chapters so far was the probably least enjoyable, but still very enjoyable. So again, check that out. From Image, we have Exquisite of Corpses. This is my pick of the week. I was really looking forward to this, and it did not let down. Got Tinian doing the writing here, and the art is really great here by Michael Walsh. It's a cool concept here. I believe it's every 5 years. It could be every 10 years. The 13 most powerful families in the world have a contest where they each pick a champion of sort, a representative, and they kind of have like this big battle royal to the death in whatever town that they pick. And the representative who wins, the winning group, runs the world for, is it the world or the country? I think it's the world for the next 5 years, with this other, 13 other people, but they're the ones in charge. So we see the people here, all these powerful and rich and corrupted people, out picking their representatives for this contest, and they're neat. They're eccentric characters, and really kind of almost has like a Arnold Schwarzenegger Running Man feel to it when they announce these contestants in that. So a lot of crazy people being crazy killers and assassins and soldiers in that. So really looking forward to more of this. In the second half, later on in this episode that I'm doing today, we'll open up one of the polybag versions of this book. So Really enjoying this so far. Definitely my pick of the week. And it had some great covers as well too. One being that Jenny Frison one. If you're not reading Moon Knight, I say this every time, you're missing out on it. Jed MacKay's been doing a great run on Moon Knight for a couple of years now. Here we have Moon Knight. He is currently going up against this he's a criminal kingpin type of person named Fairchild, but he's actually a god. He's up there with like kind of from Asgard, so he's been a big thorn in Moon Knight's side and vice versa. So this assassin here, Carver, is working for him, and she has this sword, and I believe it's called the Hoarder Sword or something like that. And it's the sword itself is kind of cursed. It always wants to possess more and more souls and that. So yeah, they're fighting it, and this is actually the soul. The sword itself is kind of like a possessed by a dragon. That's why it always wants to collect in that. So instead of treasure, it does souls. So Moon Knight does actually figure out a way to break out of it here with another great art fight scene with God of Khonshu there. And now he gets to keep this cursed sword as his own in that. So definitely a cool book. If you are a Moon Knight fan and you haven't been checking this out, or if you want to, get caught up on some of the trade paperbacks and again, jump into it, because Moon Knight by Jed MacKay has been a great, cool little surprise. We covered the first one, I guess last month. Now we're at issue 2. We got this great Empire's homage cover here, Moonshine Bigfoot. It's basically like Dukes of Hazzard meets Bigfoot. So we have this one Bigfoot character. He lives in this little small town making moonshine and delivering it. And I know he has a cast of characters that surround him now, including his girlfriend and a bunch of wild and crazy local yokels. So fun book, fun artwork in here. He loves hot rodding and that. So like I said, very much Dukes of Hazzard. And there is some other supernatural stuff in here too, like some ghosts in that as well too. So fun book. Again, if you like moonshine, if you like hot rods and the Dukes of Hazzard, and you like cryptids, then you will definitely like this book. Lots of fun. It is called Bigfoot Moonshine. Moonshine Bigfoot. Also from Image, we have book 1 of Sleep. This one's kind of a cool book. The premise of it, it's all done in black and white and shades of gray, with red showing up just, to hit certain aspects and highlights. Most of it being blood. So you see this one guy, he's waking up on the couch. He kind of feels like he's had a bender the night before. He's kind of trying to piece stuff together, and he's late for an appointment. So as he opens up his door, he sees like some kind of mutilated carcass out front, and he doesn't have time to really pay attention to it because he's late for church. So hurries off to church, and he's talking in church, and turns out one of their old friends returns home, and now this guy is just kind of dealing with that, and also just how he has kind of like this ordinary boring life, but now this town is dealing with it seems like there's these animal mutilations going on. So how it ties into this guy, we don't know. But again, like we see all this use of the line to kind of red connect stuff in that. So who knows? Is this guy connected to the mutilations and stuff? We don't know, but maybe. For Marvel, we got the first book of a Spider-Man and Wolverine series. Lots of cool covers for this one. A lot of fun action in here as well too. We got Wolverine dealing with some stuff in his life. You got Spidey dealing with stuff in his life, all what's going on currently in canon. And Wolverine needs Spidey's help to retrieve some, I believe it's a file on all the double agents in the world, and if it gets in the wrong hands, it obviously will cause trouble. So he and Spider-Man are going to infiltrate a shield place to get it and end up running into Omega Red and Kraven the Hunter as obstacles. So lots of good fun there, lots of great art and action. And as always, when you have a Marvel team-up book with two heroes, there will be a misunderstanding of some sort, and the heroes will have to fight each other. And that does happen in this book as well. So that'll happen in the next issue. It is the summer of Superman. Lots of excitement building for the movie coming up soon, and DC's riding that as much as it can. We have the first issue of Superman Unlimited. If any of this does look a little familiar, that's because back on Free Comic Book Day a few weeks ago, there was a preview of this, and that's what this is as well. So just shows Superman in his regular life here and that, and it's going to show him what happens when a almost planetary size, almost like a moon size piece of kryptonite almost hits the Earth. He is able to save the Earth from it. The kryptonite does not crash into the Earth, or it does crash on Earth, but not into, like, say, I think it was Mexico City was going to hit, or Brazil, ends up crashing and breaking up into the ocean. And because of that, Superman is extremely hurt and is in a coma for 3 months. And then he wakes up, and when during those 3 months, he finds out that the Earth itself has been almost flooded with the newest and most expensive rare element, and that is kryptonite now. So not only is kryptonite traded as a commodity, it is now all over the place, and all the superpowers, Superman family members and that, have to deal with that on daily business too, where they can be hurt now. So again, ramping up that Superman summer stuff. From Mad Cave, we have Whatever Happened to the Crimson Justice. This is kind of like a Dark Knight story here. We have a time where many years have passed since the last sighting of a vigilante hero called Crimson Justice, I believe his name is. Yes. And now it seems like many years later that maybe crime has gotten really bad again, and maybe his murdering arch nemesis is shown back up again to the public, even though he's been killed for many years. We see this one fellow here that kind of looks like a big old grizzled, tired guy, runs a little diner type of thing, and it kind of shows that he at one time was probably this Crimson Justice character. So it kind of has like that Watchmen feel to it, where the hero has retired, but he keeps seeing more and more corruption, just finally can't take it anymore, and decides to probably put back on the costume and go back out and rid the world of some evil. So great start, great artwork, very realistic. Mad Cave's been putting out a lot of great books lately. And then we got a few from last week as well too. Absolute Batman number 8. We have the first full appearance of this horrific Mr. Freeze character. He is kind of like this monster now that's almost like a life vampire, and he has captured Bruce and is now feeding off his heat and body. So, although he does able to escape and fight him. So like I said, he's kind of this horrible monster that's been kind of changed and corrupted from this this virus that they found in the Arctic. That's so lots of fun. Really love the artwork here. Haywood Sherman on it, and of all the Absolute titles, the Batman one is the best. Also a great Batman book. We have issue 6 of Dark Patterns. We're halfway through. This is the 12-issue series here. And lots of fun here too. We have the Scarface ventriloquist dynamic has been transferred over to an apartment building instead of the ventriloquist dummy. And everybody inside this apartment building, which is kind of a ghetto building, that's been scheduled for destruction is full of tenants and gang members and that, all loyal to like the Scarface you know, building possession thing. So Batman's working his way up. He finds out that it's not actually a ventriloquist, but somebody else that he's worked with and has kind of taken over that persona. And it shows with them having to deal with that and escape this apartment building. So I enjoyed that a lot. That's my Absolute Batman is really good, but I enjoyed this Dark Patterns one. Last week from Dark Horse, we had the final issue of Behemoth, which is the series where a group of people get swallowed by a kaiju as it's attacking through town, and now they're trying to figure their way out from inside there. So they're coming across, they're going through the the innards of the monster as they're inside it, and trying to deal with the monsters that live inside this beast, and also trying to figure a way out as well. So lots of great old-fashioned monster horror fun. I hope they make that into a movie because, again, the premise is pretty simple. Giant monsters attack city, people get eaten by it and survive and have to find their way out, kind of like Moby Dick style. So Image had issue 14 of Geiger. This has been a great series. We have the glowing man. He's found out about this glowing woman who she is very similar to him. She seems to be able to control her powers, and he has found her and sought her out. And we find out that she is not who she lets on to be and is actually using him to trick him to help start off another nuclear bomb that's around this place here. So great read. Jeff Johns has been doing an excellent job with this universe, and I really like the Geiger stuff. Book 2 from Golden Rage. This is the second volume of this series. Last issue, we found the remaining people that have survived from the first series, which are all older women that are cast off to this island to live kind of Survivor, Lord of the Flies style, because society finds them useless now because they're unable to have kids and that. So it's kind of like Golden Girls meets Lord of the Flies. So these women all live on this island, and some of them live in groups, some of them don't. It, again, kind of has that whole Survivor motif going on. And at the end of the last issue, for whatever unknown reason, a baby has popped up on the island. And now they're these women who can't have kids and are just older, and some of them are disturbed and whatnot, have to deal with this baby on the island. So see where that goes. And it's pretty neat. Again, there's a lot of kind of politics and tribalism going on in here because of these women in that. But I've enjoyed this series so far, and check it out. Maybe you will too. Another neat one that's pretty different from Image is issue 2 of I Was a Fashion School Serial Killer. And it is exactly what it sounds like. We have this young woman who is a pretty gifted fashion designer, and she's got herself into a pretty prestigious New York fashion school. And while she's there, she's trying to fit in and deal with all the dealings of being a young person and living in the world, growing up and living in New York and that. But at the same time too, she is secretly a serial killer who uses her victims in her clothing and her fashion designs is that. So and she only does it to evil people too, so we have that kind of Dexter thing going on. So we see her trying to cope with the fact that she is a serial killer, controlling those urges, and still survive and integrate and live this kind of somewhat normal student life at this prestigious fashion school. So again, a pretty neat book. I enjoyed it a lot too. I've never watched that Dexter show, so I hear I'm assuming it's pretty similar. Something that's kind of neat and a little off the wall is this is the promo comic that Milkbone is putting out that you have to order online. And I saw already this morning on the Trending 20, which I'll put out a video for a little bit later on, that this book is going for $60 already. So that's kind of crazy. So obviously there's a lot of FOMO there about it being an online kind of mail away, order away thing. Those are always a little bit neat to get. And it's just a story of Superman and Krypto having fun, and again sponsored by Milkbone, and again all in conjunction with the movie. So if you're able to get your hands a real copy of that, again you'll probably have to order that. I was luckily just able to come across it digitally. Something to tie in with my Silverhawks video that I put out yesterday. I did the Star Comics Silverhawks series. This is the current ongoing series from Dynamite and Ed Brisson. This is Silverhawks with all these amazing Mark Spears covers. And this is issue 4. And again, it's continuing on the story of how it is later on. It's past the time from the original series. And some of the older, more retired Silverhawks have found and tried to take down Monstar, and unfortunately a bunch of them were hurt and a few were killed in that. So we see Stargazer dealing with that, and again trying to help put together this new team to deal with all the stuff that's going on, the fallout of Monstar breaking out of jail and trying to take over the universe and that again. So lots of great stuff going on here, and like I said, I really enjoyed this. And after having read the original series, it does make a little bit more sense. So do check out any of those reboots, the Thundercats, Silverhawks, and Humanoids. All great stuff. Something else that kind of slipped by, I happened to see the Free Comic Book Day one of it and read it, and if I didn't see that, I wouldn't have picked it up. This is Red 5's book called Snow Monkey. It's about a young teenager who, when she puts on the ancient helmet of Wukon, she regains the experiences that everybody's worn it before her. So almost like a Black Panther type of thing, where everybody who's worn this is a chosen one and gets the abilities of this Snow Monkey character. So it's kind of fun. I enjoyed it. Really great, sharp, detailed artwork. And it's neat just to see about this, like I said, this young teenager dealing with problems in her life, and these superhero abilities as well too. So it almost has like a old school Peter Parker, Spider-Man feel to it. So I'm glad I found that, and it was a neat little surprise. So check that one out if you can. Hope maybe even at your comic book store they'll still have the Free Comic Book Day one of it, so you can check it out. That is Snow Monkey. Last week we also had a new series of Supergirl starting up. Sophie Campbell doing this one here. Sophie Campbell was awesome on all her run of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for IDW there. And you see similarities on this too, style-wise. So we see Supergirl and Krypto dealing with their usual kind of Supergirl stuff. She's had to go inside one of the bottled cities there to deal with stuff. And we also see her going back to Midvale where she once was, just to visit and to investigate something about this Supergirl that's there. So apparently there's this other Supergirl, and Linda Danvers living out there that is not her, but is now living there, and now she has to prove that she's not the imposter. So something's going on there. Okay start to a new Supergirl series. That was the start of a new series, and this is the end of the Spider-Man series, the Spectacular Spider-Man. This is issue 15. 15-issue series. Like I said, this is the last issue I believe I read, and this is the team-up series of Miles Morales and Peter Parker, Spider-Man. So most of this series also focused on this young character named Juliet. She is a mutant. Maybe she's not a mutant, but she has these powers where she has the powers of the elements, so fire, wind, water, and all that. So she's been working with Spider-Man, and both Spider-Mans this whole time. Cameos in there as well too with other heroes as she was learning stuff with them, and at the moment they're currently looking for her because they think that she might harm herself after bad stuff has happened. So it was a good book. I'm sure they'll bring another volume of it out in a couple months because Marvel loves to have their number ones. But that was an okay series. And lastly, we have issue 20 of the Transformers. Daniel Warren Johnson has been killing it with this stuff at the Energon universe. The artwork is great on here as well too. We have Megatron back. He has united most of the Decepticons to warring fractions, and now he's focusing on again taking over the Earth and getting rid of the Autobots as well too. So lots of awesome artwork there. This does have just a little bit more of an adult feel than the original stuff, and in this issue as well too, they also bring around the aerial bots, so more and more of first appearances of different Transformers. So great. I know we are 20 issues in here, and I say how great it is every issue. If you don't want to buy all 20 issues, buy the last few, 4 or 5 that you can, and then get the first 2 or 3, I think it is now, trade paperbacks that are out of it and get caught up. All right, that's what I read digitally this week, and we'll see you in a few minutes for a couple books that I read raw. Okay, let's look at a couple books here. We got Robo-Wolf from Dark Horse Comics. Lots of fun-looking artwork there. And the inside is very similar as well, too. It's this book. It has a lot of 80s feel to it. It's about this guy that's a robot and a werewolf put together. And he works with this team of people who are a little bit different. And they are doing a bank robbery. And it seems like he's doing a bank robbery because he needs to gather money to pay a kidnapper who's kidnapped his daughter. So lots of 80s action in here. Lots of great hyper detailed artwork in here. Colors that kind of pop. And again, I get this silly robot werewolf guy that is has this daughter that's been kidnapped by an evil guy, and he wants to use the robot wolf, or wolf robot, whatever you want to call him, and his team to rob a bank for $1 million to get the kid back. So kind of cheesy 80s action humor, but great art. Like I said, very, very hyper digital, action packed, lots of colors. Especially being in kind of that 80s, early 90s motif there of everything being very, very flamboyant. So I like this one a lot. Do check that out from Dark Horse Comics. Robo-Wolf. It goes well with that Moonshine one. Moonshine Bigfoot. And then for a little bonus here, even though we've covered the Exquisitive Corpses, I figured that this is the polybag version. And I figured I'd open it up with you guys. This is sealed. It does have a different cover. From what I've seen, it's not much of a different color. It's just a slight variance in the cover. Much like the ash can. If anyone has one of the ash cans, I wasn't able to get one. I would like one. So here we go. So it does have, like I said, the different cover. This is what the original cover looks like. You can see a little bit of a difference there. And it also comes with a card. And this card is Lone Gunman Flash Bang. So there is a game coming out soon of this. I guess kind of like a Pokemon or a Magic card game. So that's kind of neat too. So that was in the blind bag. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week for more great reviews, especially on indie comics, because they're awesome.